my name is Jeanette, and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So I want to welcome you if you are new to my channel, or welcome back if you have been before. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video today. So today is going to be my quarter one review. How am I doing on my goals, and kind of a brief summary of how the first 3 months have gone. So I'm going to start with my goals. So I have my goals list, and goal number one is to read 125 books. As of the end of March, I have read 40 books. So I am on track. I'm actually ahead of schedule. Okay, then goal number two is to read 25 books on my TBR bingo board. And this is what my bingo board is looking like so far. So to read 25, I needed to read a minimum of 2 per month, just over 2. So I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 already. That is going really well. And kind of this not knowing where they go on the board exactly until after I've read them and in hopes of getting a reward has really been an encouragement to read these. So I will be continuing this plan going forward. Okay, then goal number 3 was to read the 25 reread books that are on my rereads bingo board. That one is not going as well. So by the end of March, I should have 6 read, at least 6. I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's there, I'm just not going as well. But I also don't get a reward for finishing these lines, so I need to change that, I think. Okay, then goal number 4 was to make progress in 25 series. So again, that should be approximately, I should have made progress in about 6, 7 series, say, for the end of March. And let's see. 1, I'm completely caught up in 1. I completely finished another one, so that's 2. That I read in March, or in April, so that doesn't count. I'm caught up in another one, so that's 3. I completely read 1, so that's 4. Oh, I just realized I didn't mark a book read. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's another book I didn't mark. I gotta go back and correct this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So I've read in 15 different series so far this year, and I have completed 2 series completely, and I'm caught up in 2 series that I'm just waiting, no, 3 series that I would be waiting for the next book to be released. And I just realized I counted a book that I read in April, but that doesn't matter. So that is going fairly well, but I love reading series. I love kind of continuing with characters I've met and spending more time with them. So yeah, a lot of the books I read are series. Okay, goal number 5 is to read 5 books that were purchased prior to 2020. So I have my list. I don't know how well you can read that. I've read 1. I have 19 books and I've read 1. Okay, I need to work on that. However, I do have 1 book on my April TBR that is part of that list. So we're slowly getting there. Okay, then goal number 6 is to read 5 authors to 0. And I created a list of 11 authors of all the books I wanted to read to 0. So yeah, I haven't completed anybody yet. However, I only have 1 book left for Rachel Fordham. I have 2 books for Amy Lynn Green. I have 1 full-length book and 2 novellas for Becky Wade. I have 4. I have 4 novellas plus her new release is coming out in June for Karen Whitmire. I have 2 Terry Blackstock books, 3 Lynn H. Blackburn books. Again, I think all 3 are pretty much novellas. And then I have Lynette Eason, who, that was really a stretch. I have a lot of love-inspired suspense books to read for her. So it's going. Oh, and I'm completely caught up on Danny Petrie. I forgot about that one. I'm waiting for her April book that comes out 2 Seconds Too Late, that comes out at the end of April. And otherwise, once that's read, I will completely caught up until she releases another one. So I'm doing well. Just I haven't crossed anybody completely yet. Then number 7 was to participate in 5 yearly challenges. I am making progress on those challenges. I am keeping up to date with my own. I should do my own at least, right? So I am up to date on that one. I am also up to date with the Go With The Flow reading challenge. I am working on Oshina's Christian Romance reading challenge. I have read 3 books out of the 12. So again, that's up to date. And then I'm up to date on Chantel Reads All Day, her reading challenge. I am making very good progress on Katie's Princess Bride-a-thon. I'm up to date on Amanda's. So I am making good progress on that. Okay, then number 8 was to participate in 5 readathons. That was probably a pretty low goal because I've already participated in 3. And 3 of those were January, February. So I didn't even count anything I did in March, which I didn't really actively participate in anything in March. But I am participating in Katie's Spring Into the Movies in April. And I plan on participating in Amanda's Southern Charm Readathon in May. So that would be 5. And then, there's more later on in the year. So I think 5 was a pretty low number for that. That will be checked off easily. Okay, then number 9 was to participate in 5 group reads. Well, I've done 1. I read Persuasion by Jane Austen with Tammy from Protagonist Pub with her group read. I haven't read any others since then. So that is one I need to look at going forward. Okay, and then the last goal number 10, was to read every single day. And I have done that. That is kind of a normal routine for me, so that wasn't a stretch goal. Okay, going into the questions. What is my most read genre so far? I am pleased to say that my favorite genre is my most read genre for January, February, March, and that is romantic suspense. I am so happy to say that because I did not read enough romantic suspense last year, and so I'm very happy. And I didn't think it would be because I've read a lot of historical as well, which is my second favorite genre. So yeah, romantic suspense is my most read genre. Then my most read format is physical. I have read 17 physical books. I've read 9 via audiobook, and then I've read 9 on my Kindle, and I've read 5 that I have listened to the audio and read the physical book, like kind of switched between them. So really, physical and audio are my top 2 formats that I'm reading right now. And okay, number 3, the best book I've read so far this year. Wow. I've had 6 5-stars so far out of the 3 months, which is pretty good, an average of 2 per month. But my best book has to be The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox. I read this in January. I think it was like an early January read, and I still think about it. I love these characters so much, and the way the story progressed. I love this book. Then, my best sequel that I've read so far. So when I was like, best sequel, I automatically go to book number 2, because like that's the next book, right? But really, a sequel could be any book in a series that follows book one. It doesn't have to be book number two. So I've gone down to two. One is general fiction and one is Christian fiction. Okay, so the first one is book number two, and it is Yours Cheerfully by A.J. Pierce. This is book number two of the Emmy Lake Chronicles series. Book number one is Dear Mrs. Bird, and I enjoyed Dear Mrs. Bird, but I loved this book. Like I connected with the characters so much and the setting, and yeah, I love this one. And then the other one is a book 4 of the Restoration series, and that is Dawn's Light by Terry Blackstock. This finished off the series, and this was my favorite of the series. Now, I don't think you would enjoy this one as much if you have not followed the series from book 1. Because this one you've got to know the characters quite well, and then like this kind of wraps up everything that's been happening with the power outage and stuff. But this was my favorite of the series. It was the only book out of the 4 that I gave 5 stars. The other books were 4 stars for me, but I loved this one. Then question number 5 is your least favorite book so far. That has to be The Italian Ballerina by Kirsty Cambron. I just did not enjoy this book. Couldn't stand how it jumped around in the time, and that just threw me off so much in following the story. If it hadn't had the time jumps, and I don't mean like from, olden days, it would go from 1939, 1941, 1940, 1945, 1943, and then somewhere in there, there'd be present day. And I'm just like, if it was just like a historical timeline, like 1943, say, and the present day timeline, I would have been fine. I am fine with dual timelines and following the two, but because the historic timeline jumped around in time so much, and not just forward, backward. Like I was never like, where are we? And we were also following different characters at different times. Like, I just found it very confusing to read. So, yeah. Okay. And then number 6. A new 2025 release you want to read. So a book that's already out that you want to read but you haven't yet. And that would be Midnight on the Scottish Shore by Sarah Sundin. I love Sarah Sundin's books. The ones I've read so far, I've enjoyed all of them, and I really want to read this one. I just haven't. Okay, and then another anticipated release. So number 7 is your most anticipated book coming out in the later half, so not released yet. So I have 2. I was thinking about, I really technically have 3, but I was going to mention one that is coming out very shortly, it's coming out in June. So I've talked about it in my anticipated releases, but it's also on my April TBR. So I thought, let's talk about a different book or a different 2 books. So these ones are coming out in the second half of the year. The first one is Shadowed Witness by Angela Carlisle. This is book number 2 of her Secrets of Kincaid series. And I'm pretty sure it follows one of the characters we met in book 1. So I really want to read that. And then in August is book number 4 of the Lake City Heroes series, which is Final Approach by Lynette Eason. I love the cover of this book. I love Lynette Eason's books. I have been reading this series as it's releasing, so that is one I really want to read. I don't even know who the character is offhand. I cannot remember. But yeah, I really want to read that one. Okay, have I read a new to me author that I would recommend? Well, I have only read 3 new to me authors in the first quarter of the year. So the one that I'm going to recommend is Naomi Stevens. I read The Burning at Rosemont Abbey. It wasn't a favorite, but I did enjoy it. and I would be interested in seeing what other books she has. I haven't really spent much time looking to see, but she is somebody I would be willing to pick up more books by. And then number 9, any surprises from the first quarter in my reading life? So I would say I'm surprised at how much I've read and how much I'm enjoying audio. I have only gotten into audio in the last couple years. Like, my channel was already started. At that point, I didn't even listen to audiobooks. So it was, I want to say like 2023, I think, is when I started listening to audiobooks. And now, that's all I want to do. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I love reading as well. But I love if I can have an audiobook of the book I'm reading so that I can switch back and forth all the time. And I will put on a book whenever I can. So yeah, that's really surprised me, is how much I've fallen in love with audiobooks. Okay, and then number 10 is a new to you booktuber. I'm going to do a shout out for Cora Mabry. I have just found her channel. I think she's a relatively new booktuber, maybe this year, maybe last year, I don't remember. But I have really enjoyed watching her videos that she's done. She has done TBR videos, wrap-up videos, little free library searching, and I've just enjoyed them all. She seems like such a sweet person. So I will link her below and recommend that you go and check her out. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.